Mr. Vice President, I would love to talk with you right now, honestly, but I got more important things to do. I'm talking with my friends. I always think I'm ready, and I never think I am. I love this show. I'm John Zidar. This is the live version of On Top and Hot, where you actually bring the hot stocks and I don't bring them to you, which is always an interesting show for me. It's always a lot of work for me, too. Not just me, my bloody computer. Holy cow, I swear to God, the afternoons on Thursdays are the worst for me. I have way too many windows open. It keeps crashing. I'm always afraid I'm going to lose all my due diligence. I do believe everything is kosher right now, so we're going to go forward with our game plan. Looks like the gang is all here. Somebody's missing. I don't know who. Hopefully they'll show up though. But I'm glad to see you all here. I've got all the stocks that you've given me ready to take a look at, and we might as well jump into that. I don't see anybody telling me that you can't see me, can't hear me. So I'm going to presume all's a go. All right, Johnny, be good. Let's get out of here. We're going to bring up my screen, blind you a little bit here, and then jump on into the first stock. We're going to be taking a look here at 51 Labs, ticker FITY. 50 Labs. Who brought this in? Well, I'm going to take a wild guess and say Belmore. Yes. Now, I know I typed it, but you'd be amazed how much I forget. That's really why I make notes. But it also gives me a chance to let you see in case I do miss it as I'm talking about the stuff. Now you know. So 50. They deal with nutritional supplements and help develop drugs. Now, it seems to me, I looked at this here recently. Maybe it wasn't on this show, but boy, it was like deja vu going through the information. Real strong volume today. They've got no revenues. They've got no assets. They got no money in the bank. Kind of a strange situation. They just came onto the market, it looks like at the beginning of this month, somewhere around the 10th or that. They have deals with UMAV, a drone company, and they have deals with the Department of Defense, and we got no filings to take a look at. So 51 Labs, they're out of Florida here in the United States, obviously. They finished today at 0041. Woo, look at those gains. Whoa, 192% gains there, folks. Only jumped 0027. Doesn't take much of a movement when you're that cheap to get big gains. Wow, almost 200%. She's on the riskiest tier of the OTC, the bottom tier, the pinks. I only trade pinks. I'll get in and get out. I don't like to hold them very long. Pinks are the riskiest because there's no validated information. You don't have any financials to weigh the company up with. You don't have any filings. What you get is the management's word, and you get their press releases. The best due diligence you can do on any pink, if you're going to hold it for a while, go look at the management harder than you looked at any other management, because you're giving them your money with no guarantees. You've got nothing to back it up except their word. So you want to see what sort of people they are. This one has both of those green ticks I'm always telling you to look for with the pink. Here at the OTC markets, they have a job to do. This is their business. They're actually on the OTC markets themselves. You can invest in them. Part of their job is to verify information on companies. We've got the verification for a transfer agent and a verified profile, which is the best you get with a pink. So that's looking pretty good. Now, truth of the matter is, a pink can voluntarily upgrade themselves to be more transparent, and they can choose filings of 10Ks and 10Qs. We do see that down here on the pinks. I don't think that's the situation with this one. I can't remember, but we'll see. So what is this company about? Well, they tell us they're a shell risk. Anything in yellow over here is a cautionary flag. Shell risk means that they're in business. They're doing something, but they're not giving us any revenues, which is always a scary situation. But they've also just made a new rule on the major exchanges. I don't know if it does it on the OTC, but if you do a deal, a merger or an acquisition, and you acquire some assets Those assets are constituted as revenues. Once you create revenues, you're in business. Even though you may not be in business, they say you are. Bink, you get yourself a show risk. So you've got to go through the details. Just don't trust what's up there. So 51 Labs, they're a Nevada corporation. They're a holdings company driving innovation in health, wellness, and biotechnology. FIDI owns 100% of Genetic Networks LLC, which is the one cutting all the deals right now. They developed Genscape platform. This is a platform that is working with genomes and DNA. That's about as much as you're going to get out of me on that. I didn't dive into it, so I can't explain it to you. However, they have proven success with what they're doing by serving major pharma clients like Bristol Myers Squibb. 50 also owns 51 LLC, which is a sports nutrition subsidiary offering premium line of supplements. So they help develop drugs with their genetic networks process platform, and they sell nutrients. So let's get some information about the company. Jumping over here to their website. As I said, they sell supplements. They are also working with Genscape. This is unique because it is the only genome-wide functional assay for drugs that also integrates genome-wide functional data for target and disease genes. Does that mean anything to you? That's why I don't like to read half this stuff. And then they're involved with health and wellness, working with holistic products as well. So that's what we got over at their website. You want more information, dive around, do some reading in there. We've got lots of news here. I have picked up the news from the 27th of February. Now, remember, I said the chart only goes back to the beginning of March. So whatever news is here, I don't know what was going on with it. Again, I haven't done a deep dive. So I picked this up from the end of February. Consumer Automotive Finance, Inc. announces nationwide teleconference as it transitions to 51 Labs. So this is obviously the deal that was going on, and sometime between then and the time they got on the charts, they closed that deal. 51 Labs acquires Genetic Networks, working to secure multi-million-dollar Department of Defense contracts and positions for rapid expansion in biotech innovation. We're going to get more information about that in the news. We got another piece of news here celebrating groundbreaking SpaceX, NASA, and ISS yeast experiment by subsidiary Genetic Networks. They just got Genetic Networks, but Genetic Networks has been in business for a while doing things. And we're going to dive into this piece of news here after I read this other headline. This has been going on for 10 years, this experiment, and they just concluded it in 2023, and something else happened, which we're going to see in the news. And then they have a deal here. UAV Corp and Genetic Networks announced strategic collaboration to combat biohazards with cutting-edge technology from Genetic Networks. They have signed a memorandum of understanding. Both of these are good pieces of news we need to look into. So the deal with SpaceX and NASA. 51 Labs proudly announces a significant milestone in space research achieved by its recently acquired subsidiary, Genetic Networks. This milestone stems from over a decade of space-based functional genomics from Dr. Corey Nislow's laboratory. Beginning with the STS-135, the final space shuttle mission to the ISS, through a successful sample return following lunar orbit on Armistice 1, reported by CBN News January 18, 2023. So this was a decade one that they had finished. Down here, they tell us, in the Nislow Labs' latest experiments, which launched last night on SpaceX's Fram-2 mission, yeast strains are engineered to express transgenes derived from tardigrades, microanimals that are known for their extraordinary resistance to radiation. These were flown to measure their response to microgravity and cosmic radiation. The data will inform terrestrial applications for these transgenes in humans, including those undergoing radiation-based cancer therapies. So 1 minute it sounds like, okay, this is outer space technology, yeah, it's going to be good for a whole bunch of nobodies. But it can be used for cancer. So that's a big, interesting piece of information there. The other one, I really like this piece of news. 51 Labs, through its wholly owned subsidiary, you guessed it, Genetic Networks, a pioneer in genetic Perturbation and Drug Discovery, and UAV Corporation, ticker UMAV, a leader in unmanned aerial vehicle technology, drones, are proud to announce the signing of a memorandum of understanding on April 7th, 2025. The collaboration integrates, now check this out, the state-of-the-art sniffer technologies into UAV Corp's airships and drones, enabling real-time detection of nuclear, chemical, and biological hazards. But wait, there's more. Genetic Networks, under the umbrella of 51 Labs, Inc., contributes its expertise in biohazard identification and drug development, including a patented compound with potential broad-spectrum efficacy against infections to create countermeasures deployable through the drones. Psst, psst. Something they can spray when these biohazards occur. That's outstanding. The initial testings will occur on UAV Corp's airship, which looks like a blimp, but they're using something else to fill it up with. Currently is under completion at the Wiwakika facility, advancing the aerial threat response capabilities. Both companies are actively engaged in Department of Defense contracts, positioning them to assist each other in meeting stringent government requirements. And there's a lot more information here if you want to get into that. So we've got two very important pieces of news right now for a company that is fresh on the market. What was the relative volume around the company today? Dun, 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 dun. Whoa, that's a huge jump. She's been doing, since she's been on the market, about 21, 22 million shares a day, which isn't bad for an OTC stock. Today, she did 261 million shares. You're looking at 10, 12, 1,200% increase in her volume. So the news is having an effect. Absolutely. Share structure for the company. No, can't be picture perfect, can we? We got over 500 million shares out there in this brand new company, 571 million. The insiders own 103 million. We get all the rest, just shy of that 500 million, 468 million shares. Market cap for the company is less than $1 million, 800,000. Taking a look at the financials. Well, they were making money before they came onto the market. We don't see anything up until June of 2024, but they didn't come on the market until here recently. So we've got nothing we can see here right now. No revenues on the books. What do we got for a balance sheet? We have no money in the bank. From what we see here, as of December 2024, we have no assets, current assets. We have $1,000 in total assets for the company. That's all it's worth. Liabilities, we have $205,000. We're holding most of it. Subtract that 1,000, we got $204,000 deficit we're holding. It's not very much, but obviously it looks like a startup company. There's just not a whole lot going here. I would have thought that they'd had some assets. Come on. So there's not a lot to look at here. It doesn't look brilliant, but as a day trader, we're looking at catalysts, we're looking at momentum on the charts. This is what we're hoping for. And a lot of these new companies coming onto the market, MB came on today, Master Beef. I grabbed a small position in that. These new IPOs have been jumping. Not all of them, but there has been a resurgence in IPOs jumping. They weren't jumping at all before. I always felt sorry for anybody IPOing because they always just fell right down to the floor and just sat down there. Right now, it's about a 50-50 chance your IPO may run or may not. Taking a look now over at the disclosures for the company, I don't think we had anything to look at here, except to mention that they're late on their most recent oh, bull. That's 2011. Always make sure you look at the date. You wouldn't believe how much old news I read and then realize that ain't right. So our most recent quarterly report came out in February. So that was before they even came on the market. We're waiting for something after they've come on the market. That's what we really need to see if you're looking to invest in the company. But if you're just looking to trade it, we've got catalyst, folks. We've got, we're up to 214% now. So we're getting aftermarket activity. So let's go take a look at 50 now over at Think or Swim. You followed me. I like to see you behind me like that. All right, I have got two windows open. We've got the long chart over here. This is our 4-hour chart. This is starting at our 15-minute chart. We don't need to go into them as depth as I've been going. So looking at our long chart, this is the very first day. This is a 4-hour chart, goes back 6 months. Well, this only goes back to the 14th of March. And I went back to all the years, and that's the same thing. So she came on here roughly, goodness gracious, I don't know, maybe 001, 002. That's what she came on at. And she took a dip down to 0008, and then she ripped. Now, we don't have a whole lot of MAs here. All we got is a 20 and a 9-day MA on our 4-hour. So we couldn't look for a 200 squeeze or anything. All we look for are bigger bars, look for volume. You look for things that are growing. If you don't have any MAs to point the way, you got to look at your bars and your volume. And this thing ripped. The bars started getting big, and then it just took off. We hit a high here from 0008 up to 0052. My God. I don't know, 600-700% run right there. Looking down at our short chart now, you can see she was running flat. She was underneath the 200. She was underneath everything with the low bubble, worked her way up onto the 50. Our 200 haul is climbing. She's underneath the 200 MA on the 50. I would expect for her to jump. She did. Boink, right to and through the 200. She came down to the 200 after breaking out, which is what I always expect, a bounce. But boy, what a bounce. She took a bounce here from 0013 up to that 0052, 300% at least, right? And then she came down pretty much hanging on to the 9. She is struggling, but she's hanging on to that 9, finally got to the 20, which is what she needed. She was dangling here. She was about ready to lose it. Help came just in time. And now look at our bars getting bigger. And you just saw she's climbing after market right now. Our oscillators, all of our oscillators hit the floor and are now starting to turn up. And everything moves in a flow and ebb. It doesn't just jerk real quick. So right now it's starting to climb. I expect some climb to come before another downfall. So right now she's looking strong on her 15-minute chart. Take a look at our 1 minute just to see what our after hours is. It was just that one. Not a whole lot of aftermarket activity. But as you can see, she was hot today. And see, we back this up. She took off very quick in the morning from about 0014 up to, wow, over 100% run right there. That was up till 8 minutes. 8 minutes. She had a rip right there. Now, I don't know if she had anything going on pre-market. Yeah, she did, but it looks like it was one bar on the 1 minute, and that was at 2 minutes before the bell. So that was your heads up. You had to actually have this on your watch list and been looking at it to see the volume. And look, there really wasn't any volume. But as soon as the bell hit, that volume kicked in. And look at that steady ride, folks. Floating on the 1 minute, 9-day, all the way up. When she did hit her high, she fell back only to the 9-day. This was a beautiful run, and I think she's got more to give. All right, let's jump on over into another stock. We're going to come over here and check out CYCU. I remember posting news about this. I don't know if it was yesterday or the day before. All that stuff gets confused. CYCU. Who suggested this? My buddy, the Underdog. Thank you, pal. This one, too, is bringing me deja vu memories. I swear to God, we just covered this last week or the week before. I mean, but maybe I haven't. So this is a company that works with cybersecurity and AI. Now, the AI, from what I understand, is what they use to diagnose corporations' vulnerabilities. The AI can find it, and then they have different products that they use to protect the company. They had a big drop in their daily volume today. They've got a really low float. They've got no revenues either, but they've got loads of new contracts and expansion, mentioning millions of dollars that have been signed as contracts. So we do have revenues coming. And they too are late filing their financials. So let's take a look at Cycurian, ticker CYCU, based out of Virginia. Finished today just under 52 cents. She was up about 5.8%, jumping just about 3 cents today. This is a hot penny stock on the major exchange. It's on the NASDAQ. I prefer trading these penny stocks on the major exchange over the OTC because they're free. I don't have to pay to get in. I don't have to pay to get out, which means it's easier to trade the way I want to trade. Sometimes I scale in. I buy at different prices. I don't want to keep paying $6.99 every purchase, or I scale out. I sell at different targets. I don't want to keep paying at every purchase and every sale. So I love buying and selling for free. You get to trade pre-market, aftermarket, which you never get to do with OTC. And some of the biggest runs you will ever see happen pre-market, aftermarket. And I think it's because there are no volatility halts. During the day, a stock gets too hot, they just stop it for a few minutes and it cools down. Aftermarket, there's nobody there to stop it. All the umpires go home and them bad boys just run as far as they can go. You also get the advantage of a lot more money and a lot more volume up on the major exchange and a lot more rules. And that's what I like. I like volume. I like money. But I like rules because I've lost so much money trading down on the OTC, primarily the pinks, which are under the skirt. They're underneath. You can't even see them unless you lift it up. They're hiding under there. So I'm just telling you, folks, be very, very, very careful with pinks. I know they look tempting. They come out with the biggest news, and that is the hook. The news, but you can't back anything up with any filings. So take it all with a grain of salt. So we got a NASDAQ stock here, nothing to worry about. So what is this company about? Well, here they just tell us that they were formed to do a merger, a business combination, or an acquisition. So we didn't get any information here. So I jumped on into the most recent news press. They tell us that they are based in McLean, Virginia. They are a forward-thinking provider of IT, cybersecurity solutions, and AI, committed to delivering secure, reliable, and innovative services to clients worldwide. Specializing in cybersecurity, program management, and business continuity, Cycurian harnesses its AI-enhanced ARX platform and an expert team to empower clients and safeguard their operations. Along with their subsidiaries, Axiom Technologies, Cloudburst Security, and Cycurian Innovation Inc., Cycurian serves government, healthcare, and corporate clients with a commitment to securing a digital future. Now, there was not a lot of information to get over at the website. I mean, cybersecurity is just a lot of pretty pictures. So I'm jumping on over here into the news. I've gone back as far as I can go back, and I recognize all this news, and I remember talking about it. And there was more news. It drops off after a while, so this isn't all of it, but we're not going to go any further. This is enough. Now, as I said, oh no, my computer's freezing up. Okay, I'm going to talk while it will unfreeze here in just a second. Yes, thank you. It needs more time. The company has been making deals, expanding their cybersecurity into multiple industries. Any industry they can get into. I mean, who would they say no to, right? But they are making the company and iQuestal, this is another company on the exchange, form exclusive cybersecurity partnership to expand into high-tech, high-margin markets. Money. Also in February, the company expands cybersecurity partnership with a leading national public health association. I don't have the details on that one. I'll let you find them. In March, the company announced the U.S. launch of an AI-driven software as a service ARX platform targeted to the corporate sector. Also, at the beginning of the month of March, they were awarded 3 multi-year contracts highlighting growth and innovation. Well, you don't get contracts without getting paid, so we know more money's coming in there. I don't have any details. We've got a time constraint, so I'm going to let you look at those things. Uh-oh. I see my little purple thing there. It tells me it doesn't want to work right. Please stop that. Welcome to my world. The next piece of news. All right. The company partners with Central Square Technologies to provide public safety IT services across the country. That sounds pretty big to me. The company announces the launch of Cyber Shield, a comprehensive managed security service platform. More due diligence for you. And then one with an actual number figure in the headline. The company expands partnership with Journal Technologies and secures a 20 agency. They are changing the way justice is done. I don't know what that means. More due diligence. So they are expanding. They've got lots of contracts, getting into lots of sectors. It just doesn't show up when you start looking at everything. Please. They dropped 90%, right? They went from 13 million down to 1.3 million. That's a huge drop in volume. Share structure for the company. We've got a great float. Don't have a clue what it is, but I know the outstanding share count, it's only 3.4 million, and your float can't be more than that. And you figure the insiders own something, right? So you got to subtract that from the outstanding. Voila, we've got a low float. So when this thing gets All right, can somebody tell me if you hear me? I just had a warning come up. That's what I was telling you as I came here. I had a warning come up that said your mic has been affected. Have I been off the entire time? I would have thought that somebody would have said something earlier. I need to know where I need to go back, folks. I mean, if you didn't hear me this entire time, we just went through another BS show, didn't we? Guess what? The whole time at the start of CYU, you couldn't hear me from the beginning of CYU. Well, I didn't turn off my microphone, folks. I had a warning here. I hate this StreamYard, man. All right. No, 8 minutes. Bingo, bango. Man, why do you guys even watch? I'd be flipping through the channels looking for another video if it was me. There he goes again. We can't hear him. John, that was probably you calling me, wasn't it? It was, wasn't it? And I just threw the phone over there, right? Holy cow. Always interesting, my shows, but not what we like. So, would you like me to go back through CYCU again, folks? I can do that if you want me to. I know you didn't hear anything, but you saw everything. Is seeing as good as hearing? Mic is on, folks. My mic is on. Can you hear me? Just last chart. I'm not hearing you. Hello? Hello? Anybody home? Hello? Really? Quality is worth the headache. Market Mayhem, can you hear me? That's a brilliant thing to say right there. I hear you. Might give a quick recap of juicy parts. Okay. So some of you can hear you. Yes, we can hear you. Yes, sir. Okay. I don't know what to tell you, folks. I hate using StreamYard. I don't have this problem when I use my own equipment, but I can't do, well, I probably can do live streams. I just don't know how to do it yet. All right. Well, juicy parts. I can give you juicy parts if you want. CYCU is working with cybersecurity and AI. AI does all the diagnostics for them, tells them what the companies need, and then the company has products to help them. And they're expanding into all sorts of different sectors right now, as many as they can. I mean, who would they say no to, right? When we look at the news, oh, see, I lost it all now. But that's the great thing about this site. It allows me to keep my highlights, even if I leave the page. I don't know any other page that does that. Look at that. So you can see here, they expanded into high tech with a deal with iQuestal. That is one deal they just did. They did another partnership with a leading national public health association, launched a software as a service. This is an AI-driven software as a service, ARX platform for the corporate sector. They were awarded 3 multi-year contracts. Now, you don't get awarded contracts without getting paid, which is a big deal because if you were noticing, they don't have any money. They've got no money coming in right now, which is always a scary thing, especially for a company up on the major exchange, right? CYCU at 51 cents. You guys didn't hear anything. What a shame. But up here, they tell us they expanded partnerships with Journal Technologies, securing a $22 million contract with the state police agency. Here, they secured where is that one? Here, they secured a partnership with Central Square Technologies to provide public safety IT services across the country. So when you look at their financials, it's shabby. I mean, there's just nothing there to see. They've got nothing coming in, which would be a big red flag for me. But since this is not a pink and we can trust the news because there's going to be filings behind them, and there was filings behind these, we know that this is something we can believe in, something we can put our money on. So they have some money in the bank, unlike that last company. The problem here is that they only had 3 million in assets, 4 million in liabilities, and somehow we ended up with 3.7 million in deficit. We should have had 1 million, and somehow we got 3.7 million. I'm not crazy about that aspect. The only thing I like here is that they've got all these new contracts. We don't know the details because we have time constraint, especially with the way I waste time going mute on you. Fooled ya. Ha! You thought I went mute again. I got to have some fun too, don't I? So we've got that situation here. Was there anything else I wanted to say about here? I was just trying to hit the highlights. Looking at the relative volume, it was way down, folks. Dropped 90% today from 13 million down to 1. That isn't a good deal. Share structure for the company, you always want to know. We've got a super duper low float. Subtract what the insiders own. I don't know what that is, but subtract it from 3.4. Anything under 10 million is low. So we have a super duper low float. So when volume comes in, this thing can run hard. As a matter of fact, if we get a lot of volume, it can look like a short squeeze. This thing will just start to go parabolic. And when it does, you better start selling chunks as she is going, because she's going to turn around and come back down. That's just the way the market works. And when we were looking at the chart, I had pointed out to you that right now she has taken a tumble and all of the chart looks like she is falling. But aftermarket, pre-market can change this big time. I was also showing you that this was a SPAC. Let me back this up. SPACs go for $10 a share. My computer, please don't go mute again. SPACs go for $10 a share until they close a deal. So when you buy a SPAC for $10, you can bid the price up to 11. You can bid it down to 9, but it is worth $10 because the company may have to give you your money back. You didn't know that, did you? SPACs get a time limit of 18 to 24 months to cut a deal, make an acquisition, a merger. If they don't, they give all the money back to the investors. And the only way they can do that is lock the value of the shares at $10. But we can still move it if we want. So if you buy it when it was way up here at $13 and they fail, you're going to get your money back, but only $10. But if you bought it down here at $8 and they fail, you're going to get $10 back. That's just the way it works. So normally when SPACs have news, nobody bids the stock. They go to the warrant, and the warrants are super cheap, pennies. And this is what gets the run. And you get hundreds of percent, maybe even thousands of percent on the warrants. Once they close a deal, you normally see these things fall. Not this. This went from $10 to $31. But what happened immediately after? Boom. Fell all the way down here to under 50 cents, hitting a low of 41 cents. And there was no way she could climb, folks. She's got nowhere to go. She has to wait until that 200 catches up. And it takes a long time with a fall like that. It is only now starting to get close. So what we're looking for are some bounces like this, some stretches towards that 200. The more and more of those we see, the better. Now, when you look at the 1 hour chart, we have a 200 squeeze going on right now. Here's our price bouncing off of our 200 haul. It is now starting to climb. I have mine change colors when it changes direction because things happen with the price abruptly with this change. There's your 200 MA and the price in the middle. When the price gets on the 50 with the 200 haul climbing, you normally get a burst of energy pushing the price to and through the 200. She got to the 200 here, but she took off before it was blue. This kept her going, but she's pulling back right now. And what I think, I see this often, it will come down to the 50-day MA again for a second bounce on this pogo stick and then launch. So I'm expecting this to bounce off of that 50-day MA and then go to and through that 200 with that 200 MA helping it to go. I will expect it to come back down after it breaks through because our 200 is not yet flat. You don't have breakouts over a 200 that is falling. If you look back here, she had some breakthroughs. Right there, she was flat. That was a breakout. She should have kept going, but the aftermarket, pre-market period screwed that entire situation up, brought it right back down to the 200 haul. Here, that looks like a breakout, but it's not. It's a breakthrough because our 200 is falling. 99.5% of stocks that break through the 200 as it's falling will come back down hard, and abrupt. Normally right back to where they started, if not lower. So this, I think, is ready to break out right now, even though she's falling after market. I think she's just taking a dip to come down to that 50 on this chart, get a bounce on that, and take off. CYCU. Maybe you should put it on your watch list. All right. That's what I can tell you about that. Let me see if you guys can still hear me. I get scared coming back here now, folks. I don't know what you're going to tell me. What happens to this warrants if the stock fails? Oh, the warrants are dead. The warrants just die. It all dies. The only thing you get your money back for is the stock. Everything else, nothing. If you bought units, units come with a share and a warrant or a part of a warrant. You only get your money back for the stock. You don't get your money back for the warrants. You just don't. Let's see here. That was a great fake out. You like that, huh? Yeah, I got in a lot of trouble as a kid doing sorts of things like that. All right, so you can still hear me. You can still see me. Looks like the screen's freezing a little bit. We'll deal with it. All right, I'm going to go jump back into another stock now, folks. Let us take a look at, I know I'm killing you, aren't I? You can see that. Okay, BINGO, BI. We're looking at bingo. Actually, it's Bionanogenomics, ticker BNGO, which we're going to call bingo, okay? Bingo was brought to us by Dino Trades. This was one we were actually paying attention to at Penny Boys today. It came onto our radar. This is a medical company working with genomes and DNA. You like my spelling here? They deal with the equipment and the science. They had a jump in the relative volume today. They've got a really low float, but then they should have because they just did a 1 in 60 reverse split January 24th. They have projected revenues at the end of this year up to $29 to $32 million, but we've got no filings to actually look at. So let's take a look at bingo. Bingo's here in the U.S., based out of California, finishing the day at $4.40. Was up today almost 43 cents. That's $1.32. Boink. This is a hot penny stock on the NASDAQ. She keeps this up, she won't be a penny stock much longer. Bionanogenomics provides genome analysis software that enables genomics labs to analyze and interpret data across a range of platforms. And I'm not going to get a whole lot deeper than that, folks. Let's see. This is really what it's about. They've got equipment. They've got different types of equipment that do different jobs around these genomes and DNA. This one here reveals all classes of structural variants, so they can see everything. This one provides genome-wide detection and analysis. This one does genome mapping and sequencing. And this one isolates and purifies and concentrates to genomic DNAs. And that's as deep as we're going, folks. We are not going any deeper. You're interested in the company, you dive into it. Be my guest. So looking at the information I got for the company, we're looking at news. As I said, they had a reverse stock split back in January. That was a 1 in 60. Here in March, it was a couple months before anybody wanted to talk to him, so we didn't get any news for a while, reported the first use of OGM to detect chromomanogenesis, a key marker of poor prognosis in AMLs. I know what AMLs is another type of scanner. I can't remember what it stands for, magnetic something or other, but it's not doing its job well. What they have does it better. They released information here at the end of March. Study using the OGM in neurotube defects reveals previously unreported variants in candidate genes with potential links to devastating birth defects. Well, that would be great, folks, to be able to find chromosomes that could cause birth defects before it happens. That would be outstanding. The company reports fourth quarter and full year 2024 results and provides revenue outlook for 2025. Did I jump into this or not? I think I did look into this. I do believe the revenues look good. I think we get that information from the financials. And I told you that the projections are up. They are going 29 to 32 million by the end of this year. And then Biano announces French publication of an effective method for analysis of multiple myeloma by OGM. This just came out a few days ago. So obviously they're using their science for all sorts of discoveries in different diseases, problems with our health. We don't know what they're going to be able to do. Genomes are a part of every aspect of our health, and genomes are being studied big time. We're using genomes to actually deliver medicines now. There are certain areas we can't get the drugs through. It just can't be delivered into that area, but a genome has permission to pass through the wall, the tissue. And if we can give it to the genome, we can get the genome to go into those areas and drop off the drugs for us. When you do all this reading I do, you remember a wee bit here and there. That's everything I have for bingo. Let's go take a look at the relative volume for the company. Well, that's up. We went from 97,000 shares a day on the major exchange, that's under the radar, to 1.6 million, getting respectable. That's about 18 times their normal volume, 1,800% increase. Looking at the share structure, voila, we got ourselves another low float, folks. 3 million outstanding. Insiders are going to own something. Most do. Subtract that, there's our float. Very, very low float. I love these low floats, but you've got to remember, folks, these things fall faster than they climb. They climb fast, but they fall faster. People get out of low float stocks very, very quickly. We've got a market cap in this company of 9.2 million. Financials for bingo. They making any money? Yes, they are. But what happened there? The first 3 years, they were climbing from 17, let's call it 18 million, up to 36 million. Doubled their revenues in 3 years. Then they dropped 6 million. But what's curious is the profits. Where'd the profits go? They were climbing 4 million, 6 million, 9.5, and now we're down to 380,000. Where'd all that money go? What did they have to pay for? Quarterly. What do we got going on here? They're ballparking 8 million, running between 6 and 10 million. Looks like it was September of 2024. They had that hard hit. Whatever it was, I don't know. Look at that. 8.4 million they lost. And now they're back on track. At least they were at the end of December 2024, pulling in 8 million, keeping 3.4 million. Balance sheet for the company. We got about 20 million in the bank. It's not bad. 76 million in assets, 41 million in liabilities. Nice math. Now we got 35 million in stockholder equity. So everything is in the black financially. So from a day trader's point of view, this is looking okay. Take a look at our disclosures. This 424B5 is talking about like $6 million worth of shares. I was trying to figure out when they were planning on putting these out, where they were coming from. It's a little confusing, but it isn't happening yet. This is one of those things they put out before it happens, but now you've got a heads up. There may be a public offering for $6 million worth of stock. An S8, a 10K. There's their most recent financial. This just came out, and that is for last year. So we're expecting one to come out here for the first quarter. That should be coming out any time now. I would be expecting that. And these 4 and 4s, there weren't any buys or sells in there. These are when the insiders acquire or dispose of the company's stock. They can do that in a mildred of ways. But we're most interested when they buy it or sell it. That's always an indicator. So none of those are of concern. So we've got nothing to worry about there. So let's go take a look now at the chart for BNGO. Presuming you can still hear me and I can get there. Hello. Knock, knock, knock. I want to come in. Oh, I see all my little wheels over here are spinning on my web pages. Ding, 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 ding. I should probably close half of those there. All right, let's see. Number 7 should be bingo. We got our long chart on the left. We got our short chart on the right. I'll bring that. Yeah, that's close enough. So here's our 4-hour chart for bingo. Not looking good, is it? Egads. That's a ski slope. She's been falling for the last 6 months hard. She has been banging her head towards that 200, showing a lot of desire to want to actually climb. We had a big poke through here. It is almost flat, but not really. Not really. So when she got up, she was going to come down. She had a couple bounces there. So there was a lot of money that could have been made there, jumping from $12 up to $26. I have no clue why she was bouncing. But when she gave up the ghost, she gave it up big time. Came back underneath the 200, falling from the 200 at $14 down to $4.80. Went sideways and then fell more down to $3.50, falling more down to $2.68. Now, as you can see, there's our reverse stock split. So anything, well, everything on the chart has now been multiplied by 60. So when we look at the high here, that's not right, is it? No, that wouldn't be right. It said $25 and $12. Well, you got to divide that by 60. Both of those numbers, and that's what the real numbers were. Now, the chart's right. It did have that big run. It looks just like that, but the numbers are completely screwed up, and they're going to stay screwed up forever and ever and ever. This is not a temporary situation. When a reverse stock split happens, they no longer put a big green bar showing us how it jumped in price. They just multiply the whole chart, as if that makes any bloody sense at all. As you can see, we've got a breakout right now. Boy, oh boy, oh boy. Our 200 haul is turned up. Just as it turned up, we had our blast off 2, and it did actually go through the 200. Once she got on top of the 50, she just ignited. She did pull back, pushed right back to and through that 200. Lots of volume. All of the oscillators on the long chart are climbing fast. As you can see on our hourly chart, it is perfect. Our 200-day MA went flat right there. Right, it's perfectly flat. Right where it broke out is exactly the way it should have worked out. We have ourselves the price sitting on top of the 50 right there. The 200 went flat, and she launched, folks. Big, humongous bars back to back, all floating on this 9-day MA. Now, it's starting to pull away. You see that gap between the bottom of that one and that 9? That is going from $4 up to $4.25. That's 25 cents. The price is not a bird. It does not fly. It does not float. It bounces. It's a kangaroo. Boing, boing, boing. It doesn't matter uphill, downhill, sideways. It bounces. So I'm expecting this to come back down at least to the 9. So if you're thinking about getting in, that would be your entry down at the 9. She doesn't show any cause to be wanting to fall. All of our oscillators are still climbing and strong on the hourly chart. Taking a look at our 5-day, 15-minute chart, we are now on a gradual uptrend. That is climbing. It is slow, but it's picking up momentum right now. There we go. We got another bar. She did dip down, but all of our MAs are pushing up right now. I don't freak out for every red bar coming down. You just don't. The price bounces. That's what it does. As long as it stays within a static area, if it stays on top of the 9, well, you're good. When the whole bar, the entire bar gets underneath the 9, then you're in trouble. But if your red bar is sitting on top of the 9, I don't care if it has a big wick coming down underneath. Don't worry about it. It's still at home. It's still on the right one. So this looks like it is still wanting to climb, but I would be looking for a pullback, a small one, as she is climbing. Oscillators are in a pullback right now. They're all rolling down slowly. It's not any big fall. It's just cooling off a wee bit. And let's take a look at that 1-minute aftermarket activity. So we had a nice climb here up to that high of $4.60. She cooled down here. When she cooled down, she rolled over her 200 haul. So now the price is in between both 200s again. She got up on top of the 50 in between the both of the 200s. Boink. There you go. That 50 is a diving board in between the 200s. The 50 is a diving board. She just likes to jump off of it and get through 200s. She's come back down. She's getting on that 50 again. Look, she's bouncing around doing exactly what she should right now. I'd watch this one Bingo was on our radar at Penny Boys. She came up on my scanners many times today. She had a nice, strong day. She looks like she still got interest aftermarket. All good things. So I'd be watching this tomorrow myself. All right, I need to check back just to make sure that you guys can hear me. Okay, let's see what happens if. All right. Every now and then someone should just say, "You're okay. Ooh, you're good. Ooh, we can hear you." Just so when I look over here, I do have another computer I can look at every now and then just to make sure. Yep, you're all still golden. Yeah, man. That's what I'm talking about. I am golden. Yeah. Okay. Since I know everything's cool, kosher, and golden, I'm going to go jump back into my next stock so we have some time to do some stocks that you guys have brought in. What time is it? 5:02. All right. We are looking at Onco. Onco came to me by way of Jamie Mendez. This is a oncology company that deals with prostate cancer for men. They have a new merger deal that just came out. That's the new news. They had a drop in their relative volume today. They got a real low float, and they too are late on their financial filings. So Onco, this is Onconetics. This is a company based out of Ohio. Finished today at, let's call it darn near 6 cents. She is down almost 9%. This was a cool penny stock on the NASDAQ. So what does this company do? Well, as I said, they deal with prostate cancer with men. More specifically, they offer their FDA-approved drug Entadfi, which is a once-daily pill for the treatment of benign prostatic hyperplasia. I love this. And they have Proclerix, an in vitro protein-based blood diagnostic test for prostate cancer. So what information have I got about this company? Dug up and ready to go. Dug up and ready to go. We've got news. I'd take you over to the website, but what are you going to look at about drugs, right? So looking at the news, I've gone back here to March 19th when the company announced new clinical data for its innovative prostate cancer test, Proclerix, has been accepted for presentation at the 2025 European Association of Urology Congress. So they're going to have all the people who would use this looking at it. So that's good. The 24th, the company announced a successful clinical validation of its innovative prostate cancer test, Proclerix, in a Danish cohort. They seem to be getting around over there in Europe. And the most recent news that came out on the 8th, the company signs a letter of intent for potential business combination with AccuVex Therapeutics. I did dive into this. I do have information highlighted. Don't you love it when the computer doesn't work for you? Oh, thank you very much. There we go. All right, this is an interesting scenario. You've got a company here that also has an FDA-approved drug. This company, Onconetics, is being acquired by AccuVex. AccuVex already has an FDA-approved product and a late-stage clinical assets. They believe that by combining with this company, they will have access to capital. Well, the first thing you're going to consider is that they must have a lot of money in this company. I didn't see it. Where are they going to get the capital? That's been my question since I've seen this, but I could be missing something. The company that they are doing the deal with, AccuVex, is a privately funded biopharmaceutical company. They were formed through the merger of AccuVex and VisualVex Pharmaceuticals in August of 2024. They are working with ocular hypertension and open angle glaucoma, and their drug has received FDA approval. God, I love these biotechs. It tests my vocabulary. So we've got a deal sitting on the table, and I was reading something else, and it actually sounded like this deal was already done. Here it sounds like a potential deal. That's what the word even says up here. And something else that I was reading, I can't remember where I read it, said it was already done. So we are looking at these two companies coming together. So let's take a look at the relative volume for this company. Oh, quit. Let me see if I can close something here and get some more power. Close a few windows here. Oh, even closing them is going to kill me, isn't it? Yeah. Okay, doke. Oh. Well, I could tell you a joke. No, it's not what we want. What are you doing over there? Okay. It's a good joke. It's my three-legged pig joke. It's my favorite joke. It's the best joke. Everybody loves it. Okay, now, where were we at? What were we looking at, folks? What was it, Onco? And we were going to look. Right. Okay, we're good. Okay. Looking at the relative volume for the company, big drop. She went from 12.3 million down to 3.4 million. Looks like she lost about 2/3 of her volume today. Share structure. Is this right, Unco? Yeah. All right. Outstanding share count is low. We've only got 8.2 million. Again, we don't know what the insiders own, so we can't do the math, but we know it's not going to be more than 8.2 million. It could be less. No matter how you slice it, it's a low float. Market cap, ridiculously low. $500,000. Financials for the company. All right. So they're doing this deal. The other company is merging with this company because they've got an FDA drug approved and they need some capital to do something. I don't know what they want to do, but they need capital. Well, we got $58,000 at the end of 2023, and where's 2024's? I don't know. How about the quarterlies? Well, we do have some quarterlies here for 2024. We've got revenues on the books, 700,000, 700, 400,000, but not a whole lot. And they're only making about 100,000 or more every quarter. So there's not a lot of money here. So it must be hiding in the balance sheet, right? Cash in the bank? No, $341,000. Total assets, 61 million. Now you could break that down into the property and the plant, goodwill, intangible assets. I don't see a whole lot of cash there. Total liabilities, 28 million. So that leaves us, thank God for us, we get $34 million in stockholder equity. So they're making money, not a lot. They're making profits, not a lot. And we've got stockholder equity, a nice chunk. But I don't see where they're going to be getting capital to help this other company. But I'm not going to worry about it. I'm sure the other company's done their due diligence and they're happy. So that's what's on the table right now. Looking at the disclosures. 8K, 8K, these have to do with those two pieces of news. And they're that not filing our 10K, that bought them 15 days as well. So they should have theirs out by the 16th or they're going to be in hot water. Okay, let us go take a look now at Onco. Why do I feel like I've done Onco already? No, I haven't. This deja vu stuff it's just like vertigo. Let's see. We're going to number 6. No, not number 5. Arab. Arab was hot for a long time. Number 7, please. Thank you very much. All right, we got lots of lines on that long chart. Looks like she's fallen away from everything we were playing. I'm going to take these lines down temporarily, hopefully temporarily. Clear all my drawings, please. Okay, well, you could tell she was in a downtrend anyways, but now you get a better view. This is what I want to see. We knew the price was going to fall and have to wait for the 200 to get close. But I want to see big bars jumping off of the price, showing eagerness, showing anticipation that it wants to climb. Now, once it got flat, she took advantage. She did jump. But what happened? Why didn't she continue? I have no clue. We had a rip here from 46 cents up to $1.17. So you're looking at, oh, geez, what is that? It's close to 200% gains, 200% run. She came right back down to that 200, bounced on it, and rather than making it flat, started pushing it down. And that just broke. She fell hard from 54 cents down to 5 cents. God bless America. Now, she's had a jump here as the 200 is getting close. I like to see that. The price is underneath the 50, over top of the 200 haul. We've got ourselves a 200 squeeze, right? So we're watching the price to get up on top of that 50. Our 200 haul is already pushing up, which is going to help the price to move. That's why I like the 200 haul. It's a friend to the price. The 200 MA don't give a hoot about the price. It's a hindrance. Never cares about it at all. But the 200 haul actually takes into consideration the price in its calculations. So it is thinking about the price. I think of that as a friend. So when this is turned up, I'm expecting the price to move up if it's over top of it. And once it gets on top of the 50, that diving board, we're expecting it to do what? Right. Go to and through the 200. We're down here at 7 cents. The 200's at 20 cents. Wouldn't that be a nice run? Woo! So this is what we're watching on the long chart. Come on down to our short chart. Look at our 1 hour view. I think I can put my lines back up now. Can't I? Yay, they're back up. Okay, so our 1 hour chart says we are in the midst. Wait a minute. That's bingo. B-I-N-G-O, B-I-N-G-O. There's our short chart. That looks righteous. Okay, so our 200 is still in a downtrend. We've had some pushes. We've got some eagerness here. So remember, anytime you see a break through the 200 that's falling, take your gains as she's climbing, because guaranteed 99.5% of the time, she's going to come back to where she started. That's a huge drop. If you bought in up here thinking, oh, she's going to run, and then it came back down here, you would be so upset. You'd be kicking yourself, and then it falls to a new low. So when you see, these are great money makers. When you see a breakout over a falling 200 and she's climbing, take gains, sell in chunks, take pieces of that bad boy as it's going up, because you never know when it's going to turn around and fall fast. So this was a big money maker, or it was a investor killer. She's come back down to this low underneath everything. She's starting to climb right now. She's starting to push up. Not a whole lot going on. We don't have any volume over here to talk about. Oscillators are pretty planted, but they're showing uptrend. Not much. Taking a look at our 5-day, 15-minute. Boy, that was a nice rip, wasn't it? She ripped through that support that I have drawn from a historical price point where she likes to bounce. She broke through that and came right back down, hitting that low. And right now we are setting up for a atypical breakout. You're going to get these with any fall hard. It's got to come back up. It's got to cup. And your MAs do this over and over and over again. It's the easiest bullish pattern to find, because you just find a stock that looks like it's ready to start coming up. And the signs for coming up are a 200 haul underneath the price and a 200 MA above it, and the price working to get on top of the 50 so that it can jump and get over top of that 200 and start to fly. Get out from underneath the water, get up into the air, zoom, go to the moon. Our oscillators are all starting to climb. I like our ADX here. Our ADX has a crossover. Whichever line is on the top is your dominant trend, the green being the uptrend, the red being the downtrend. We just had a crossover here. They are in the middle. This is the undecided zone. This is a 0 to 100% graph. It does not move. It's fixed. So anytime you see things here in the middle, it's pretty much going sideways on the chart. It's making a decision. So right now we're doing a lot of sideways bouncing. But she's moving in the right direction. If she keeps going in that direction, we could have our 200 squeeze breakout right here and now. Let's take a look at our aftermarket activity. Hey, look at this. We've got a trend pushing up here. We're getting higher highs, just a little, but that's all you need. We had a nice push here with the wick, came back down. She is bouncing off of that 200 haul. There's a turned up 50. Everything is turned up, heading towards the 200. This looks ready on the short chart to actually try to do a breakout. Our PPO, my percentage price oscillator, just had a crossover, very strong, pushing up. Our ADX looks wicked. Yeah, we got a crossover happening right now. It was in a very sad, bad situation. The downtrend was very strong, but our uptrend did not go all the way down to the bottom. It was hanging around the center here. Looks like it could come back into action, and it's doing it right now. MACD is coming up. We've got green bars, and our RSI is climbing, and it's now hit 58. I like to see it at least over 55. So Onco is not looking bad. I'm going to be watching Onco tomorrow for a 200 squeeze breakout. Try to take those gains as she's climbing, because she's most likely going to come back down to the 200, jump on that a few times, and then decide what she's going to do. That does it for all the stocks that I had set up. So I'm going to close every single window here and see if I can get some more power. Yeehaw, wasn't that fun? So hopefully you guys are throwing some stocks down there while I was over here yapping away. Look at how slow this is. I had 86 windows open through the day as I was on Penny Boys, because I got lots of windows open to be looking at charts and scans and all sorts of stuff. And then I start doing this. It kills my computer. Getting used to. Probably got something else in the background that I got to get out of there. Okay, yep, you still golden. I'll take that. Okay, let's come on up here. Mark Ryan said he wasn't going to give me a ticker today. He wanted to save his spot for somebody who had one. So let's see. I'm going up here to the top. What do we got? FAAS, Digi Asia Core, Damian M. FAAS. That looks familiar to me. Well, you know what? I'm going to take you up on that, Damian. We're going to look at FAAS. I'm presuming that's a ticker. I like to see a dollar sign in front of them. Some people just put things down there, you know, like thinking of you, THOU, and I don't know what it means. So let's go see here. What's the ticker? FAAS, right? Yes, sir. FAAS. Hopefully I remember something when I see this. All right, FAAS. Let's go over to the company profile. This is a company out of New York, Digi Asia Corp. She finished the day at 23 cents, was down 6.5%. She's a penny stock on the NASDAQ. They say she's a shell company, which means she hasn't got any business. So she's not making any revenues. That's not a bad thing, but I mean, it's an opportunity waiting to happen as long as they do something with it. We've got no information here. Look at this. They're at the One World Trade Center. Are they? Okay, I think an update might be necessary here. So let's just start over here with the relative volume. We'll work across the page and get information. Our average volume for this major exchange stock has been under 500,000 for the last 30 days. She's been doing 485,000 shares a day. Today she did less than that, half, 245,000. Not a lot of interest in her right now. Taking a look at the share structure for Digi Asia. I'm not getting anything here. Normally, I would dive into a 10K. If I see a 10K here real quick, I'll grab it for us. Yeah, it's real easy to find because I read these 10Ks and 10Qs all the time. I know exactly where I'm going in them. And it's right up at the top, so you don't even have to go zoom, zoom, zoom all the way down. What you got to have, though, is the bloody thing come up on your screen. If it doesn't come up, what the heck can you do? All right, so that's the very top. I come down to the first couple of blue boxes. And where's my blue boxes? Oh, you made me a liar. All right, let me scroll down. If this is from New York, I should have had my blue boxes up at the top. Nope. There. That's what I'm looking for. That's normally at the top right there. It's stuck again. No, don't go nowhere. Where you at? There you are. Okay. So right here is our share count. I can always get my shares right here, right in this bottom section right here. Class A, ordinary shares. They say they have 200,000 authorized, 200 million authorized. What? Class A ordinary shares? No. Well, that's a little interesting. Right here, they would normally list two numbers. They would give you the outstanding share count from a year ago and an outstanding share count from the end of 2024. And you get your numbers right there. I don't have any numbers here. All I know is they've got 200 million out there, and they've got 2.5 million shares ready to redeem. That's it. Okay, I'm going to hold this open just in case they don't have financial information over here. Taking a look at the financials, since we're thinking about it, we've got nothing on the annuals. We got nothing on the quarterly. So let us dive back into that. All right, current assets. Total assets, we've got $27.6 million. Total liabilities is 14. So that means we should have 13 million. What? Now, how is that? Right? Total assets is way high, 27. Total liabilities is 14. They're telling us we have stockholder deficit of 14 million. We should have 13 million up. We should be up if there's only 14 million. I don't know why that is. So that ain't looking very good. And revenues, we got that here close at hand. Net loss, we don't have any revenues. They lost $63,000 at the end of 2023. This is old. This is old. So we don't have a whole lot of information here to look. They've got nothing going on here. I'm not liking this. I like to have information that's current. We've got no news here. Absolutely no news. Taking a look at the disclosures, maybe this 6K is news. 6Ks are a lot like 8Ks. They're normally material change or something like that. DigiAsia Corp's report strong full year 2023 and 2024 financial update with positive 2025 guidance on its core business. The initial full year 2025 guidance for Indonesian core business remains very positive with revenue growth of 24%. That is up to $125 million. Okay. 74 million in revenues in 2023, 101 million in 2024. There's some more information for us. So they seem to be making money, right? There's a lot more information here, but they seem to be making money, but for some reason, it's not getting over here, is it? It's just not showing up. So they do have revenues on the books. Let's check another one of those 6Ks out over here. I'm looking for some news outside of financials. Entry into equity line of credit for... Whoa, my whole computer just went black. Did that do anything to you guys? Wow, I thought I lost power. I don't even know if I'm on right now. I could be talking to myself. I just got hot and cold. This is an obligation to direct investors to purchase up to $20 million worth of shares. So this is one of those deals where they have an investor who's willing to buy, but he's not going to buy right now. He's going to buy when the company needs him to buy. They just call up and say, hey, can you buy a couple $1 million worth of shares? Sure, no problem. And then they get themselves a couple $1 million to use. Now, what a deal. I like that. And let's see, we'll take a look at one more. Boy, look at all these 6Ks that came out just at the end of March, but we've got nothing going on right now. Delisting. Okay. As of March 18th, 2025, the company received a notice from the NASDAQ saying that they had foreign. All right, so this is a foreign company. So they've got a headquarters in New York, but they are still considered a foreign company. I'm surprised we were looking at a 10K, which does explain why it wasn't laid out the same. That looked like an international financial. You get all this right up in the front end about all the international laws. So here they're in trouble. Yeah, the NASDAQ requires foreign private issuers to submit Form 6Ks on interior balance sheets and incur income statements at the end of the quarters. So they're late filing. And from what I understand, if, let's see here. Oh, we don't get those 10K whatevers over here. So they're late filing. They've got to get that in. They just got that in, so that should be taken care of. So I don't see any problems here. What I don't see is a catalyst. I'm not quite sure what is going on with this company that would have anybody wanting to look at it. Nothing personal, dude. I don't know. Maybe you own it. I got a lot of stocks like that. Entering the second forbearance agreement with Helena Special Opportunities, another group of people that are willing to purchase from them. Originally, they bought 5.2 million shares, and they've had a couple purchases here. Looks like they're willing to buy some more, but I'm going to have to dive into this when we've got time. So they've got investors that are willing to put money into the company when the company needs it. But I don't see what the company is really doing. I don't see any news, any catalysts. They say they're a shell company, but what is their business? Now, the best thing to do is to actually dive into the financial and get that information. But maybe, just maybe, I can get it here. Looking at FASS, if you go over to Stock Titan, they do blurb write-ups on companies. So even if you don't have any news or anything, let's see, FAAS. DigiAsia operates a dynamic holdings company at the forefront of integrating embedded fintech financial technology solutions with traditional financial services. As one of the pioneers in the embedded fintech as a service sector in Indonesia, the company is strategically positioned to serve both business to businesses, to companies, to consumers, as well as business to business markets, including major corporations, blah, blah, blah. Technological. Okay, let's see if they got any news down here. Last piece of news came out October. Digicore and Digit9 announced strategic collaboration. And if you come in, you can get the full piece of news, but what I like about coming in is you get bullets right here. Here's the full piece of news down at the bottom. It's not even there. Strategic collaboration with Digit9 to enhance cross-border payments. Network enables payments in over 150 markets. Estimated annual volume of 250 million in cross-border payments, and they make a little bit of money off of every payment. You know, like PayPal does. Make just a little bit of money off of each one of those. And potential for future innovative products and services with cross-border payments. So that's what we got going with FASS. I don't see anything else. So let's go take a look at the chart. FASS, she's running fast. FASS. Okay, obviously I've looked at this before, a long time ago, back when she was up at the $2 range. So this is the 6-month, 4-hour chart. Let's make it a little bit bigger so you can get an idea of what's going on. She's been in a downtrend, hard one. I don't see any reverse stock splits here. That doesn't mean she didn't have one, but the prices are all normal. So she was at $2.20 6 months ago, and we got a low here of 20 cents. She hit just at the beginning of this month. Right now, she is still falling. Our 200 is actually starting to level off. There's actually some leveling off going there. That's good. Our 200 haul is still falling pretty sharply, and our price is riding that 200 haul, riding it down. All of our oscillators are a little weak right now. Everything's pushing down. Taking a look at our shorter charts, take a look at our 1 hour. I'll give you some meat in that chart. I said I'll give you some meat in that chart. Oh, come on, bloody hell. Oh, my God. Okay. Downtrend, we're at 58 cents. That was 20 days ago. We were on top of a rising 200. I can see it right there. It is rising. But once she came underneath it, that was it. She went flat and then fell, and everything fell with it down to this low. We jumped off of our 200 haul as soon as it turned purple, right? As soon as it turned blue, it jumped up to the 50. Huge bar, pushing big bars, dropping down to the 9-day, only the 9-day, going to and through the 200. Boink. Yeah, she came back down, but this told us she was going to go to and through. That's the gain you take. Don't worry about the one over. Wait until she gets over it, bounces on it, and then starts to run. That's your run over the 200. This is the one that you take to and through the 200. That's the one I capitalize on. Right now, she is dipping down. She is still in that setup, but it's weak right now. We need things to get a little bit stronger. Looking at our 5-day, 15-minute. What the heck is that? My God, that's a Head and Shoulders if ever I saw one. Head and Shoulders, you got a shoulder right here, a shoulder right there, and a pointed cone head up here. This thing went from the low of 20 cents up to 38 cents. Came back down. Now, a Head and Shoulders is a bearish pattern. Normally, after this happens, she falls down, and right at where she started it is where she falls. Now, this could have fallen a lot harder. It's not a guarantee that it's going to happen, but it's enough to make you nerve-wracking. So we didn't actually have it here. She's trying to hang on to the 200, but she's slipping. She's falling away right now, and it looks like she's actually getting weaker. Things are falling underneath the 200. Our 20-day MA is starting to roll over. That's the steering wheel for the price. When it starts to roll, the price rolls. That's what I use on my cue. That's how I know when to get into the queue and when to get out. As soon as I see that 20 start to change direction, I'm out, I'm in, whichever the case may be. Let's take a look at our after hours. Ooh, so we're on a downtrend here. She is hitting her head on the 200 and occasionally getting over it. And when she gets over it, she pays for it. She comes down further than where she started from. Hitting this low, she went back up again, very high. She gets these nice big bounces, came back down, and now she is falling even further down. This isn't looking very nice. Oscillators are in bad shape. Our PPO is falling fast and furious. Our ADX has the downtrend at the very top. Our uptrend is going to the very bottom. That yellow line tells us how strong the dominant trend is. It's getting stronger as it moves up the graph. Our MACD is barreling downhill. And our RSI, 36 right now, heading towards the basement. So right now, fast does not look good, but I don't see a lot in fast. I don't know what she's got going on that would be worthy of watching. So this isn't going to make it to my watch list, but maybe I told you something you didn't know if you were looking at the company. I tried my best. Best I can do is my best. So that be it. My best. Let's see if I got audio again. Oh, no. All right. Let's see. Oops, forgot to bring the screen back. You're still golden. Okay. Did I? You mean I didn't do this? Really? Did no? Okay, folks. I am losing my nut. Today is not going the way I want. The computer has caused me a lot of frustration. I'm not quite sure what you got to see, what you got to hear. You know, I normally like to come back when these are all done and find out when I started the stock and when I ended it so that I can put markers on them. And then I go post it again so that people know what stocks I talked about and when we talked about them. I don't want to put this out. This is a piece of junk. Maybe it's good for your entertainment. I appreciate you being here, folks. Maybe I have to buy a bigger, stronger computer. I don't know what's going on here. Maybe it's StreamYard. I've been having a lot of problems with StreamYard, honestly, but I do know my computer could be improved. It's been working well for years, but I don't know. Maybe it's getting old like me. Thank you, folks. I'm going to be back next week trying to do this again, and I'll try to be better. You know what? Maybe I'll go beg, Lily. No. Oh my God, she's been gone for so long. I can't even remember her name. Does somebody remember? My co-partner. She's going to kill me. Oh my God, I need help. So I'm going to see if I can get her to come in here. But she just became a mommy. So you know why she's not here anymore. She's got bigger, better things to be doing. I will catch you next week, folks. Thursdays, every Thursday, unless it's a holiday, 4 o'clock Eastern Standard Time. I'll be here doing the best I can. And you should record it because it's never what I say it's going to be. Bye-bye, folks. You cats. Did you see that?